Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Ilarian Garza with you, and today we have an interview with the founder of SampleServe, Russell Schindler.
I'm Russell Schindler. I'm a geologist and I've been doing environmental work for 33 years, and I'm the CEO of SampleServe.
Thank you so much for joining me. As I told you, I'm doing the YouTube channel on data science right now, and I came up with an idea for interviewing different founders from different sectors on a data science topic. So my first question would be, how did you come up with an idea of SampleServe?
So it wasn't, we kind of came in through the back door. It wasn't like a brilliant idea of being a software company. I'm actually a geologist, and I've been doing environmental work, environmental sampling since I got out of college in 1987. And not always sampling, sometimes it's remediation, investigations, some phase one investigations. I've done a lot of different stuff in the environmental sector. But I started my own company back in 1993 called Compliance Inc. It still exists today. It's a typical, consulting engineering company, does a lot of underground storage tank work, the groundwater investigations, remediation. I ended up selling that company in 2001 and started a different company. I actually have 7 patents to my name. 5 of them are in groundwater remediation, having to do with oxygen injection, hydrogen peroxide injection. One of them is a free product recovery system. And then the other 2 that I have are in digital chain of custody. And I actually just got issued those about a year and a half ago. So in 2001, the state of Michigan changed rules on how to collect environmental samples. And what they did is they went to a low flow sampling method, which is, I won't get into the details, but suffice it to say, it required a lot more data and a lot more specialized equipment to collect a sample than it had previously. And so I recognized an opportunity, started a company called SampleServe, and we specialized in actually physically going out and collecting those samples. Well, as I mentioned previously, there's a lot of data involved with collecting those samples. So I thought to myself, hey, it'd be great if you had some software that helped you kind of manage this data beyond a simple Excel table. And so I worked with some software companies and we started building some platforms for managing the data. And the goal wasn't to really have a software that we sold to other people. The goal was to just simply make our job easier. So I was, I tell people I'm kind of lazy. I like to be as efficient as possible. I'm not really lazy, but I do appreciate efficiency. And if I could have some software that prints my labels for me, instead of me having to fill them all out by hand, all the better. So that's the kind of stuff we started doing, creating labels, creating the forms that we need to fill out that already had pre-populated a lot of information. Then we're able to put photographs right on the form so that when you're filling out the form, you could see the photo of the well or the location you're supposed to be sampling and go, yep, that's it. And so it wasn't one brilliant idea. It was a lot of just little features added on top of one another. Then it was probably about 2011, I went to meet with this big national engineering company to try and convince them to hire us to do their sampling for them. So I was not, trying to sell my software or anything like that. I go into this meeting, big national firm, actually international firm. I'm showing them all of our sampling features, and I then show them our software, our reporting. So we'd started doing some reporting as well. And just back up for a second, since I had all this data, I was like, you know what, I can actually do tables for my clients. And then I was like, well, if I got tables, I can do graphs. Then it was like, well, if I got the data, maybe I can put it on a map instead of them having to have an AutoCAD guy do it. So we kept building the data deliverable to the client over those years from 2001 to 2011, and it got to be where it was pretty cool. Well, and there was some project management aspects into it. So, again, just, 10 years of building the software a little bit at a time. I go into this meeting back with this big national firm. I'm trying to get them to hire us to do the sampling, and I show them our software, and they're like, hey, your software is pretty cool. Like, can we just use your software? They're like, well, we kind of do our own sampling. We really don't want to hire people to do it, but man, if we could use your software, that would be really cool. And my first response was, no. I'm like, I don't, I'm not in the software business. I'm in the sampling business. But so that kind of got me to start thinking about, well, maybe I know that I have some cool software. They clearly think it's pretty cool. And so it took us a little while to kind of reconfigure so that we can actually have third-party users come in and enter data and that kind of stuff. So we started reconfiguring the software. Again, fast forward, as mobile applications got better, we started, thinking about having our own mobile app, and now we have, an app that it's a tablet application. You can print labels. You can see I've got a little banner behind me. There's the tablet, and here's the printer. So you enter your information here, print labels, and so you can do everything. Go into the field literally without any paper. It prints the labels for you. There's no more. I tell people I had one project that I was doing in Virginia, where every location I had to fill out 17 labels. Well, when you fill out a label, there's a lot of information that goes on that thing, and it literally would take you, 20 minutes just to fill out labels for that particular sample location. And so, now we can print those labels out just in no time, and they're accurate. You can actually read the writing, because when you're filling out 17 labels really fast, it's big problem reading people's handwriting. So so that's kind of how we evolved into that. And then we have all these graphics because we have the field data. We have a separate lab app now as well. So the labs receive our samples on the lab app, and then they can instead of having to type data in at the laboratory using our a paper chain of custody, and they've got to get the stuff off the paper into their database. We take it from our mobile app, push it to the lab app, and then the lab app can push it to their LIMS system. So a cooler full of samples, if you ask a laboratory, a cooler full of samples typically takes them about, depending on how many samples, takes them about 30 minutes to enter that data in to their LIMS system just off a typical chain of custody. Well, we can get that data into their system, that same cooler full of samples, in about 10 seconds. So significant time savings for the lab, no more typos or data entry errors. And then when the lab is done, right, so we've got the field data we push to the cloud, and then when the lab is done, they push that to the cloud, we marry the data together, and we're able to generate all the common graphics showing you where the contamination is, where it isn't, what direction it's heading, what the concentrations are. We're able to create all those graphics in just a matter of seconds. We can typically get everything done in under 10 minutes, and we don't do it. The user just uses our software. So the consulting engineering company or whoever the client is, they do it themselves, but it's really simple, really user-friendly, and a lot less expensive and a lot faster. So that's kind of how we got to where we are. And now we still do a little bit of sampling. We kind of consider the sampling part as our research and development department, but we're mostly a software company now.
So you just answered my second question. It was about what kind of products are being developed by SampleServe. So the main product is your platform, right? And all these devices that goes for the sampling that goes with the platform, right?
Yep. So I kind of divide it up into 4 categories. Mm-hmm. We've got the project management tool, where you'll basically upload all of your project information, your maps. You pick the lab that you're going to use, and we can communicate directly with the lab as long as they participate. Order the bottles right through the platform. We're even working on a way where you can order your supplies. So if you need tubing or balers or rental equipment, be able to order that stuff right through there, because we'll know what your project is. We'll know how many filters you might need or how many balers, because you're going to set the project up, and then we know how many bottles you need. So we order the bottles already. And then so there's the project management tool, and then you push your scope of work to your mobile field app. So that's the second part. The mobile field app is where you go out, collect the data, take the photographs, get the GPS coordinates, You can kind of custom create your own forms if you've got questions you want to ask. And then at the same time, when you collect the sample, we print the label at that time. And then when you've got your samples done, you use our patented digital chain of custody to push those samples to the laboratory. You push the data file to the lab the next day, or however you get the samples to the lab via courier or UPS or FedEx. The samples arrive at the lab. They already have the data file. They open up their lab app, pull up that digital chain of custody, and they simply scan our bottles, and then all that data is entered right away. So again, saves the lab a ton of money and time on using our lab app. And then when the lab is done with the analysis, like a week later, so the lab app is the third part. And then the fourth part is the lab pushes the data back, and then we're able to generate all those graphics like this. The user logs in, you get a notification your lab data has been uploaded, and then you can log in and generate these graphics in no time. One of the features we will be building probably in the next 6 months is where you go in and you just set your preferences, how you want your graphics to look. And so when lab data gets uploaded, it'll generate those graphics in a matter of seconds automatically. You don't even have to do it yourself. You set how the preferences you want, how many dates you want, what chemicals you want to show, which locations. You set your preferences. As soon as new lab data comes in, it's going to generate the reports automatically according to your preferences, and then email you a PDF document of your completed report. You'll still have to write the narrative, the executive summary, the conclusions, recommendations, but all the graphics will be done, which is the most time-consuming part. All those graphics will be done, literally in just seconds. So
awesome feature.
Yeah.
My next question would be about the technology, because I got the technology channel, and I want to ask you, what technology do you use in SampleServe? With what technology did you build the platform, the mobile app, and all other dashboards in your platform, in your data lab?
So our app is, we use a MySQL Postgres database, and then our app is actually a React and React Native application. And we're Android only right now. We will be coming out with an Apple version. I hate to put a timeline on it because, I had a timeline on it like before COVID, and that kind of messed up my timeline. But so we'll probably have one out in the first quarter of 2020.
And for working with all the data, what kind of technology do you use? Do you use to build all the graphics and to work with data? What kind of technology?
We're using, and I'm a geologist, not a software guy. We're using Python.
You're using Python to work with data.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're using Python, so my next question would be, how is data science applied in the company? Because data science can get the additional value to SampleServe and to the clients.
So right now we can do like groundwater contour maps showing you which way your groundwater is flowing just based off the raw data. We can do these are groundwater contour maps. You can't see them that well here. This is our ice chemical contour maps, and we can plot the same ice chemical contour maps on cross sections. And then data box maps, whatever criteria you want to compare to. If you've got drinking water criteria or indoor air, it knows where your site is located. So if you're in Michigan, it's going to compare to Michigan criteria. If you're in Florida, it's going to compare to Florida criteria automatically. We're actually working in 3 different countries right now: South Africa, Australia, and Canada as well. And we've got projects in those countries. And then some of the other things that we're going to be building in the future is essentially machine learning. And, just to kind of give you an example, if we have 10,000 sites of data, projects in our system, and we've got, on average, some are going to be more or less, but if we've got 10, 12 years worth of data on average for each one of those projects, and then we get a brand new system or a brand new project into the system, the machine learning will look at that 10,000 sites and then pick out the top 20 or whatever the most comparable sites to this new site based on types of contaminant, flow, direction, and gradient, hydraulic connectivity, soil types. It'll pick out the most comparable sites, and then it'll actually be able to evaluate and predict what your brand new site, with a very high level of accuracy, it'll be able to predict what your site looks like 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And it'll happen very quickly. So you don't need to go in and do this huge fate and transport model and spend, tens of thousands of dollars doing a model. We're going to just look at the raw data and just do comparisons and, machine learning, and do that predictive analysis that may be as accurate, if not more accurate, than your traditional fate and transport model, but it'll be done at a fraction of the cost and in just, literally the same day. So that's kind of the future product. The technology is available. We just simply need to build the part out and then get the data into our system. But we're getting new projects in here every day. And so we're building up that database, and hopefully by the time we get the machine learning part built out, that we'll have enough projects in there to have a really accurate machine learning product.
Right. I won't take a lot of your time because you're a busy guy. So my last question would be, what are company plans to achieve in the future? Right now, I know that you got 3 different countries. Maybe you want to expand geographically, or you want to expand users in the United States, or you want to add new features to the platform. What are the plans for the future of SampleServe?
So all of the above. Actually, the 3 countries we're working in right now, we weren't even really intending on operating in other countries until we had a much bigger footprint in the United States. But people came to us and were asking us, and we didn't even build out the metric system initially, because we're like, hey, why mess with the metric system when we don't even have a big footprint in the United States? So we started getting pretty good footprint. We've got projects all over the country right now, and more every day, as I mentioned. But we started getting inquiries and people literally just starting to add projects, because you can go to our platform right now and sign up. And they're from other countries, and then they would be like, hey, your app's not available in our country. Can you make it available? So we make it available. And then basically, after we had several requests to add the metric system, we added the metric system. It actually just went live last week. So now whatever country you're in, we know whether they use the metric system or not. It'll just default to the metric. If you're in a metric company, if you're in the U.S., or there's a couple other countries use the imperial system, it'll default to imperial. And then you can switch if you want to use metric. Now, the interesting thing is, and kind of like the key to our success going forward, I think, is our very unique business model. So that project management tool that I mentioned, we let people use that for free. So you can go in there and you can sign up, start entering your projects, start managing your data, planning everything out, planning your sampling. That's all free. And then the mobile field app, where you go out and actually do your sampling using our app and the printer. We don't give away the hardware. You got to go get your own tablet. This is just a Samsung Tab A. It's about a $220 tablet. This is a standard printer. So we give the mobile field app away for free. You got to get your own hardware. So that's free. The project management tool, the mobile field app, is free. And then the lab app, that receives the data from our field app, that's free. We give that to the laboratories for free, so they can sign up for free. The only thing that we charge for is these reports. If you want our reports, then we're going to charge you for them. If you don't want them, you can continue to use the project management tool, the field app, and the lab app at no charge. We're betting, and so far we're winning the bet, that most people are going to be like, you know what, for the price that you're charging for these reports, it's a pretty good deal, sign us up. Because, it's a whole platform, right? I mean, there's a circular data. Most of these projects go on for years and years. And so to be set up to just kind of keep that data cycle going and generating reports kind of quickly, very low cost, it's just a great system. And this is how we make money. But the value, even if you decide to do your own reports manually, the value is still there for people to sign up. And we know we're not going to get 100% people signed up, and that's okay. We think eventually the people who don't become paying report customers initially, we think that they will convert over time. And we're continuing to make our products better. And as we add other things as well, like the machine learning, being able to order your supplies, your tubing and your filters right through the platform automatically, we think that as we add those features, more and more people are going to just sign up for us. So, and so far it looks like we're correct in that prediction.
So it's a great business model. You got all this data from your users, and you can apply machine learning in the future, and maybe sell these reports and sell these predictions. And your freemium model is awesome. So you give all the features of your platform free, and only if users want to get the dashboard, you get paid from this. So thank you so much. I hope that your platform and the company will expand, and you will build the empire on sampling.